Current events.
Is that what you named it?
Yeah.
You know why? There's nothing better than something sitting around
Right.
Sweat. You know everything's all okay in their world.
Sweat.
And we're live. How we doing, everybody, man? We're back here with Ray and Charles. I'm so drunk right now. I'm just joking. I'm having some kids. Yeah. People already know I've been posting of it, but I'm not drunk. But man, today, man, we're gonna be talking about the weather, and that's something that I really wanted to pitch it out to see if you
the weather. What's going on with the weather?
If you
live in Houston, I mean, you can only talk about the weather for a couple seconds before it changes.
If you don't like it, give it a minute.
Oh yeah, and current events. So it's the weather and current events. You know, they him yesterday. Good news. Prices.
I apologize for coming up in the chop shop.
Oh no, you good.
Let me take my mask off a little bit here. Better.
Walked all the way.
That might be why I was sweating.
Might be. Nobody even pulled a gun or nothing.
Sweating. I didn't know they'd ever let a black man wear a mask all day and it would actually be legal. Yeah. With a mask on. I'm going to the bank to make a big donation.
The bank needs to give us a big donation, right?
They will when I walk in with that mask.
Get him!
I need you to donate your entire till to this bag, please.
Yeah. All hundreds. Unmarked bills.
All right, so weather. What's going on with the weather?
The weather.
Do you think it's been manufactured that there's because they have a company called HARP, and that's like they control the weather, but it's people say it's not. It's a joke. It's.
So I'm gonna take the conspiracy theory level to 100% for myself now. Fair enough. Like we're on the show. I'm gonna look at it from the way that we're always gonna talk.
Let me give it to you.
Come on, hey, listen.
Take the conspiracy theory.
No, because what's my number one conspiracy theory? Jesus rose from the grave.
That's not a conspiracy.
Yes.
Depending on who you talk to.
All right.
So,
I'm like, huh?
as far as the weather's concerned, so I heard something this week, and it said that if Satan is the god of this world, right, and he has power and control over the world, right? So he even when the storm came to Jesus, and Jesus rebuked the storm. Some people say that it was just a wild storm that came on the sea, and there's another set of believers who say that. The Greek god Poseidon, who would control the water, if he was an evil entity, if he was a spirit, right, that's where it would come from. So I would say that in time, the way the time is getting now, I saw there was snow in places in Ohio last week. You know, we're talking we're in April and it's still snowing. Yeah. So is times changing? Is it biblically the way it is in the book of Revelations? I don't know. But at the same time, I can tell you this much: my life, where we're at, being in the new shop, not being in the old shop, it's a lot different with the way the sun goes across your. It's not that the sun don't rise and set the same way it did every day before, but when your perspective changes, life changes.
Right, it's right.
Lord, you got somebody said government seeded the clouds in Vietnam to rain more.
Huh?
Somebody.
The government.
Seeded the clouds in Vietnam to rain more. So that means that they are controlling the weather.
I don't think that they can't. I don't think that there's something they can't. I don't think we know half of what our government actually puts us up to. I don't care. And then, again, can go across many things.
It's conspiracy.
Yeah, it's all. What are they actually doing? What are they going to know? What do they feel like their job and objective is? You know, it's like, why do we fight the wars we went to? We get told one story. There's always another one. Think about that. And that's, like I said, that kind of plays emotionally. How all that stuff was what we was talking about before the show was the emotions of people who they keep getting played. They're going to pick and determine what they want to feed you. I personally feel like it's Hitler's agenda, just on a much bigger scale.
You hit a point there.
I can understand.
If I'm wrong, but this is where I stand at right now.
I can understand someone actually wanting to control the weather. I mean, there's a lot of power in that, right? But let's say that man was able to maybe bend something, right? Bend it a little bit, maybe send the rain in a certain direction.
Even,
like that.
I mean, I hate to get on that like CERN. You know who that is, right? They're like trying to collide. Yeah. And
they're building another one.
What's funny is I ended up watching.
What's that? I don't know.
You talked about it. It was not Da Vinci Code. It was one of the other ones. Angels and Demons. I finally got internet back at my apartment, so I've been Netflixing.
Okay.
I'm trying to watch.
It's better than watching news.
Like, guess what I'm on now, right? Yeah. So I watched these two things. I felt like I really don't want to think about this. So guess what I switched to? Chappelle Show. The original Chappelle Show.
Yeah.
Is it still funny?
Clayton Bigsby is a white power. It still is one of the funniest And if you listen to what he's talking about in 2003,
yes,
it is 100% relevant 18 years later.
18 years later. Yeah, it's fucking sad.
When you think about it a little bit, is that not sad?
Then again, look at what he got himself in and out of. He got out of Comedy Central, says he didn't join the Illuminati. You know, I mean, how far do you want to take that? But if you go back to his roots, where it started at, Dave Chappelle's funny, bro.
And he said he's going back to Africa again. He was saying. That's where he was when nobody was looking for him.
He got on reparations. Like, I've watched the first few episodes of it, and I'm like, it's funny how, you know, halfway prophetic it was that he talked about the stuff that's current events today, and now it's on Netflix for somebody like me to watch.
That's one thing you got to understand, though, too, is what he was saying then was very, if you want to say conscious or woke.
Richard Pryor. I mean, how much further you want to go back? Like
George Carlin.
Yeah.
George Carlin was talking about things, and if you watch George Carlin, it's relative to today. He's talking about the government. He's talking about
vaccines.
He said everything. He didn't have nothing. He's just either you believe it or not. You know.
But I think if there was the ability to control that, everything's going to come back.
Well, again, I think that when man has the ability to control everything around him, is when the evil heart of a man will show up.
But even if he controls just a little bit of it, I think that the world has a certain balance to it. And if you make this happen, then this other bad stuff's going to happen.
Well,
and you notice how the weather patterns that we do get that are unusual, like you said, it's snowing in Ohio, the freeze that we had here in the Houston area,
which goes back to if the weather patterns are being manipulated or can be manipulated, my faith says that God has allowed it, and I should pay a little more attention to what the scriptures say. And that's all, because we wrapped up our Bible study. So from the start of the year till now, it's been 13 weeks, right? I went through COVID with a mindset. Last year, 2020, we had a brand new mindset between me and my son. We did things a little differently. We thought, you know, that we were going to crash, fail, and nothing was going to work. So we stepped out on faith. This year, kind of did the same thing. We just pushed the faith step one step further. We found a way to stay productive over 13 weeks to set a schedule, right? So forgetting the world around us and what everything else is going on, right? But we always get back to, and I think that we kind of drifted the past couple weeks from that, being about that community. What's it like being there, being in the community, you know, paying attention to the things around you. Like turn off the media, turn off the crap. Yeah. You should be living your life every day to your absolute best. Like today is the last day of your life.
Yep.
You never should go to bed thinking I've got till tomorrow.
No.
That's basic biblical, just good teaching. Like you just make amends with everything. You know, let the sun go down your wrath. And everything we went through for the past 13 weeks, which was really crazy, is and I'm going to invite you both to go with me. The next time I go, it's a once a week thing for about 2 hours. It was so relevant every week to talk to you guys, and either the week before or the week after it came up in our Bible study every week. So when you were talking about when we first got back together, you're like, hey man, you know, I went and see my dad. I had some stuff going on, and you come in to talk to me. I was like, oh man. So to go to what we've been through, and I'm saying I'm still stuck on the first week, bro. I'm saying the first week is to understand for me that, you know, I know how bad I can be as a person, right? So, in that thought and mindset today, I look out and we're talking about race relations and everything, kind of like we're going to touch on that today.
Sure.
But we went through this last night. So when you brought up the police relations and everything else, I done sit last night and listened to my church pastor give a lesson on stuff that happened when it was very current, because he was at George Floyd's the peaceful march that was here in Houston. So I know where my mindset's at, but I was very solid into where the race relations of the minister that I'm sitting under, right, that I've given 13 weeks to their church, to understand that, hey man, it's very relevant in my life every day, or at least every week over here, because me and you have a friendship that supersedes our colors. Right. So absolutely. Anyhow, so I look out there and I'm like, there's these guys they're bringing in cars and parking cars out there for sale. I'm like, you know what? When I got the property, she said, you cannot by any means put cars out here for sale with sales eyes on. And they put them over there. And I thought, man, that kind of sucks. And I thought, no, you know why this is really good for me? Not the fact that they're moving another business in, but it's not a motor business. They're trying to sell cars. How easy it is to go over there when nobody's there, catch the people and go, hey, by the way, I do good work cheap back here. If that car don't work good for you, come see me. My perspective changed on what I've seen going on and around me. It's no longer a threat to me because I'm seeing more people come through. It's an opportunity for me to go meet and greet and talk to more people, kind of see if that door gets opened up for me to find new places in my community. right? I could have either closed the door with a hatred feeling in my heart, like, why are they being allowed to do that and I can't? But instead of that, to look at the flip side of the coin and see the embracement, right? So then I'm walking.
That's an approach. That's
right.
a mindset, right? That's a mindset.
But you know what put me on that mindset today was I was walking through the parking lot and I picked up 3 pennies. Now I'm the person who picks up every penny. So if you want to talk about somebody being a Jew,
there's 3 pennies right there.
3 pennies. There's 1, 2, 3 pennies. All 3 pennies were heads down. Most of the people who walk around being lucky would say penny heads down. You know, you don't pick it up as bad luck. I don't care which way that penny is. If God makes money rain from heaven, you don't know if you need that 1 penny or not. I'm picking that joker up, right? Why? Because they got worth.
Right.
Whether they heads up or heads down. Those people, those places, they have worth. And you've got to find the perspective in it because there's always value in everything. And so that's what really set on me today. I'm going to get off my pedestal. But I promise you, I'll give you the parable of the 3 pennies today. And I thought about the 3 of us.
Oh.
3 pennies face down?
We 3 pennies face down, right?
3 Bitcoins.
I want to be face up.
Look at both, I want you to see both sides of the coin per se, right? You're here on the DACA. There's a lot of people who aren't happy about it. Then there's people like me who see things differently, right? We got a difference in color, ethnicities, beliefs, political beliefs.
Regions where we grew up. I mean,
right.
It's a lot
but no matter what it is, we still have value in our friendship, right? And me, myself, I'm the worst of the ones. Like, I really want to get that. When I get to heaven, you say, Jesus, I want to talk to you. I'll give you praise. But can I find Paul for a second? Because you let him write, he's the chief of all sinners. I want to know what this dude did was so bad, biblically, that the thief on the cross didn't do when you forgave him to start with. Like, where at what level did he?
To death. You remember?
Right. Yeah, but I'm like,
that
in itself lets me know I still have value. Right. And so what I do, I went along today. I picked up 3 things, did the right thing, held on to them, waited till their values is at a point where it's something that I can use, right? In whatever aspect it be, whether it be being like one of the guys at church, he takes these and cuts his little crosses in it, hands them out.
Yeah, I've seen that.
For free. He does that stuff all the time, you know? Or melt it down and turn it into the local junkyard and give me some money back for my copper, right? Not that they're even worth the copper that they are. They're government made. If you know anything about the government, that stuff's trash, man.
Yeah, it's the federal government. The central banks.
Exactly.
Hey, you gotta explain him what it's earned. He said he didn't know what it's earned.
Yeah. So I think in Switzerland or somewhere, there's this big electronic collider, and they're supposed to be sending particles at each other to collide them because they say at the point of the Big Bang theory, when those particles hit each other, that there's this what they consider to be the God particle, what would start everything.
Okay.
So if they did it again, they could harness the power of God. I think that's kind of the idea.
And they found the God's part.
And they wanted to, and they found the God part. Now they're wanting to use that for, I think, energy crisis or something. I don't know. I just think it's listen, it says in the end of times, the knowledge of man will be increased tenfold, but it would be the simple things of the world that confine the minds of the wise. I'd rather be more childlike in the times that we live in, a little more loving. You know, you get children around each other, they don't care about what color they are, they don't care about da-da-da. I'm trying to live my life at 43 like I'm 2.
I'm more about the simple things now.
Yeah.
I really am. So I'll tell you what, I ordered some worms. My worms came today. So I'm really
ooh, yay.
Worms for, bro? Are you getting a mushroom?
It's for the farm?
Simple things. So in doing my research about the farm and trying to get on some land, man, there's no one that works harder than the worm. It's the earthworm.
Mm-hmm.
So what the earthworm does is he eats this, and I find this amazing, but it's simple, right? I'm going back to the simple thing. So if you had trash, waste, so let's say we don't eat this pizza, and we don't finish it. I'm gonna throw that pizza inside there with the worms, and guess who eats it? The worms eat it, and their poop turns into fertilizer, and it's the most amazing and best fertilizer. They call it black gold. Something of something.
Why you gotta be black, man?
It is black.
I'm just
yeah.
checking.
Yeah, I knew he was gonna go.
But
Yeah.
excuse me. But something so simple. I mean, who thinks about worms?
Nobody.
Cares
That's
about
true.
worms. And then I started watching that and started looking at that. I said, man, I can take something that is considered trash and turn it into a product to sell. How do you take something that no one wants?
It's got value.
And
Three pennies.
so to me, simple things. I felt like that was, and I know it sounds crazy, you know, I'm still, but I find it.
You kind of start seeing God in everything you look at.
I see God
when you
I see
shut up
God
long
in-
enough and let it happen.
I see God put a seed inside some soil, dude, and I've been doing it. You know, I mean, look, this is one thing that a lot of people probably did when we're in lockdown. Start messing around with maybe little hobby things. I said, hey, let's grow some plants or something, right?
At least you didn't get all the things.
He's like, I'm on it. I'm
Wait, I was
with
gonna say, you know, that's not OnlyFans. No, I thought you were supporting your boy. No,
40.
Not that I wouldn't. Listen,
He's
not
like
that I
50 a
wouldn't.
month.
Listen, if you need the $5, tell me, and I'm not.
He said 5. He's 50.
bro, you killing all my money ideas.
He's like 50 a month.
I'm actually trying to help you out. I'm saying,
No, it's all right
where's
now.
where's my wallet? You need 5. I got 5.
You should have been on my OnlyFans. That's all right now.
Hey, but you can create
But you got
OnlyFans
value.
not about that.
You found value.
About the farm?
But ultimately, you found value in poop.
Yeah. So they're called worm castings. But the thing is man, God is amazing in the sense that, man, if I put a seed in some dirt, if it rains.
Oh crap.
Think
about it. Hold on, think about it.
Yeah.
So how can you say some serious SH?
Yeah, but how can you sit there and say that God has not provided us with anything, but He's given us the means to actually create something in order to feed ourselves? One of the main things that we have to do in life is we have to eat. If you're able to take care of your basic needs, like, man, if I got food on the table,
I'm not collecting my food for you.
I don't want. But it's just, to me, it's going back to those simple. Like, man, and I know it's been out there and the way we approach things, we look at it, but all of a sudden, you know, that became amazing to me. It became amazing that I said, because there was a thing that I was on, and this is when I didn't have a job, man. I didn't have a job for like 12 and 17 months, somewhere around there. And I found out that God will provide. That was the same thing I just kept saying through the time that I didn't have a job. And so how I say it in Portuguese is Deus é provedor.
God provides.
God provides. He provides for the birds.
So how can I rob another man? How can I, if I know that my needs are met because God is going to fulfill these needs, then why ever would I try to steal from somebody? What else do I need?
Right.
In this material world, in this world of man, we're really over here doing a whole bunch of things for things that they don't even mean anything to us. Watch this. Is the internet real? People get so upset by what they see on the internet, or people get into fights because of something someone said on the internet.
One little thing.
Well, I think the internet was one of the things that started off. I'll tell you off camera the first thing I ever seen on the internet. I'm sorry, but my viewers, are not ready for how I was traumatized by the internet the first time I got on the internet.
Yeah.
First thing I ever saw, I'm talking old dial-up download.
AOL.
It was terrible, and I was like, "What is this?" Like, that was messed up.
Imagine if tomorrow we wake up and no internet.
But think about people who are younger than us. Like, we remember the downloading,
before there was
internet.
internet.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So it starts to make you wonder, like, how much programming has been between generation to generation to generation, too, right? And the overall schemes of society in itself.
Yeah.
And I think that brings us still back to that very idealistic. Like, they're able to manipulate. And here's the thing is, so the class, right? The first class we go to, you know what the first thing they taught us was? There was 2 trees in the Garden of Eden.
We talked about that.
There's 2 trees in
Did
the
you tell
Garden
me
of
about
Eden.
that? Did we
One
talk
tree
about that
is
one?
the tree of life.
Yeah.
The other
tree of knowledge.
The tree
right?
of knowledge. Of good.
Yeah.
We spend so much time consumed on trying to do what's right or wrong, depicting the knowledge that we're giving and the information that we have, that I think we truly forget to slow down and live.
Yeah,
right.
We do.
Like we were the only reason that we worked so hard is because of the fall of man. But outside that, it was never God's intention. So what Jesus came, when he came, he said, "I give you life and life more abundantly." Like, if you realize it to slow down, like, you only have, I think we all can agree, you only have so much time, right? And I think the biggest thing I wish I could say to the masses that are going crazy, hating each other and everything else, I need you to realize the time that you're wasting hating each other is time that you're eating of the good and evil, and not the tree of life. If you are really wasting a lot of the time in your life, if you haven't slowed your life down by now and taken that serious, like what I would say is almost like a wake-up call for 2020 vision, to say, hey, God, I feel like God personally for me was like, hey, I need you to straighten up, man. You're wasting the years that I'm giving you. You're wasting the days.
I mean, did you think it was? I really thought 2020
for everybody, dude.
For everybody. I'm talking for mankind, bro. When has God shook the planet in our lifetime like that. I mean, he's actually shaking the planet for us to be like, to
and then
wake
you
up.
really have the volcanoes, the earthquakes, the rest of things going on. People just are flat mean to each other.
I have a question. I read something in it's in the Bible. I don't know what verse, but it said, when I read it, it said that God meant for everybody to be one flock, one shepherd. And then I was like going to what we're living in society, one world order. So I'm like,
No, but I don't.
I know, but in my mind, I'm
That's
like,
what I'm saying. But from the so
yes.
You asked that from a biblical perspective. What will end up happening is there will be a one religion, one world order kind of the ideology, right? Is that what Jesus was saying is that I want you to be one with each other. Like I want you to love one another as I've loved you. If you fail, here's the thing is, I think a lot of people, you're wrong. You don't have to go to everybody, right? The people you run into and have interaction every day, God is only giving you that day. You're not alive yesterday, and you're not alive into tomorrow yet. This is all you're getting is right now. And what you're being exposed to is all the knowledge you have that's been imputed into you during the day. And it's up to you to decide, is this the right thing or the wrong thing? And if you don't understand or you still have confusion about it, then take it to God in prayer privately. But understand something. The entire universe is operating and as it's running, but you are in your own world, man. Right now, we're just on the in group because we're in together. When we leave here, we still have lives that are moving. And I don't get to see and come by and come across with anybody else you do. My hope is that when you do leave, what Jesus asked for the disciples is that when we leave here, the same spirit of connection that we have with each other, that we now go to the next person who doesn't look like you. It isn't you, but he looks like you. It's not you, but he looks like you. Are you taking time to be, get in a situation? You ever feel like getting in a situation, you feel like, hey, man, you should say hi to that person. Yeah. Say hi to them. Yeah. And you're like, say hi to them. Yeah. Say hi to them. And you walk away from God telling us. And instead of that, what I chose to do with my life since the first of the year, is take it the other way. If I got prodded, man, I just stop and talk. I don't know what you or I got to say to each other, but I can tell you right now, if God can use a donkey, if he can use a burning bush, you know what I'm saying? If he can use the spirit and quiet, like there's nothing that God can't say or is not being. And I think a lot of people are missing the fact that God is talking to them very loud. They're standing out there saying, God, give me a sign. Yeah. God, give me a sign. Yeah. No, take the sign, take the thing that you've been given because you already know it. And it's probably the thing that you fear the most. And you know why? Because making that choice means you got to let go of control. You got to take your life. And what do you say? If you're just working so hard to find your own life, you're going to lose your life.
So I feel like when I came back and started hanging out with you, I really feel like God told me,
okay, fix it. And then, listen, we just didn't see each other because of COVID.
No, I don't remember why. But for me, I really feel like God told me to come hang out with you. I don't know if it was like,
I'm probably the most unlikely center person that you was ever going to show back up on. Because when I got there, you came in and you're like, what happened to you? Yeah. Where did you go? What?
No, who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you?
I was like, man.
I know Charles, but who are you?
I'm a new creation. Yeah. Somebody totally different. I look a lot like the person I used to be.
You look like the guy.
The inside?
Real ugly, scraggly,
little
bit of hair.
That's him.
That's
him. That's him.
Not all white people look alike. That black guy's right there.
That's him. No, but for whatever reason, it was something. So then when you were even talking about the podcast, putting us in connection with Jesus, I was like, man.
It was cool though because like the seed we planted, right? Mm-hmm. The seed me and you planted when we talked about the conversation, right? Mm-hmm. God always had a purpose for it. I think that's where we ultimately end up. It's cool that we ended up in the shop, right? But we're not talking about the shop. No. We're talking about the important things that got the shop here. This is how we got here. This is the backdrop that everybody else sees, but I'm trying to explain to everybody else, like you was, who the heck? Yeah. And this is this is what happened to me.
I mean, sounds like Charles. You know what I mean? His voice sounds like him. But it's not him. But the words that he was saying and the I think a lot of things are come out of a person. The emotion or it's some vibe, whatever it is. But God, I feel like God was like, hang out with Charles. For whatever reason it was. I don't know. I didn't know the move was happening.
In a personal, I'm in probably one of the worst relationship pieces of my life. Like no, I'm saying what I never.
But it wasn't about
everything else.
You hang out with him. These things are going to be.
Yeah. And it's a re-encouragement to say, hey, man, don't give up. Keep pushing forward. Yeah. Because we all know you guys have interaction with me. I know where my life is at. So no matter what I'm accused of or any of those other things, like y'all kind of are like y'all represent Jesus to me. I don't know if you realize that, but you are a reflection.
So
and
I believe that God sent me to come hang out.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, I could do that.
Yeah, because this didn't just go like this.
And what's cool is we've been on the same path for a while.
For a long time.
We just went on the same
But
path.
every time I come hang out with you, man, we sit down and have very, whatever you want to call it,
in depth and very vivid conversation.
So what happens? What happens in the world that we live in today is you have a lot of people that are talking to you but not showing you who they are. You have a lot of people talking to you, but they're not being sincere.
Well, you know what's cool, and I think what's really cool about that is our friendship with Zelle. We went from where we just met each other because of the gym. We chit-chatted, talked, hung out a couple of times. Never really like planned to work out, but it's like, hey man, what are you hitting today?
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing. Cool. I was planning on going heavy, or I want to do a lot of reps. Probably I should do the same thing. Like we had a connection point, from the get, and that's where relationships start, right? Your friendships are bonded out of a common liking of each other. You know what I'm saying? Something to the other person. So we go from that to talking about starting a business. And it was crazy to you at that time. You're like, what? Hold on a second. And you've seen, like, you've been one of my close friends who've seen my life change and evolve. Most of my friends that are going to watch this in Ohio, they seen it on the internet.
But when somebody says it, and so I'm doing that now. I'm living that. That is my life now. I'm living that. I'm telling people something, and they're like, man, that's cool.
Maybe sound a lot.
Y'all getting tone.
Huh? Who said that, Trina?
Don't start,
Trina.
Don't get me triggered talking about tone. Don't get me triggered.
That's why she went laughing out loud. I totally forgot about that, dude, and she wrote it down.
Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me.
Yeah. Trina, Mama T, we love you. Thank you so much for making it through COVID. You're a strong fighter, very, very brave woman. Don't you ever forget it. I appreciate you.
So man, it's amazing the path that God puts us on. I think I came to you, and I don't know, I'm not sure, but I feel like there were certain things that, man, when you would feel like, man, I don't know if I can, and I'm like, what? Because I was there, and I felt like, I don't want to say I neglected God, but I think my faith shook. I had an opportunity to do something. I think my faith shook. And so when I saw you thinking like, man, I've got all these things on top of my shoulders, and I don't know if I can lift it, and I was like, are you crazy? Everything that's been going on are signs that are telling you that this is what's supposed to happen. And so because I felt like I went through it, I feel like, and when I say I went through it, I'm not a professional, right? I didn't know.
Except for making mistakes. I'm good
at that.
We all.
But I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know about the new shop. I hadn't even seen it. You haven't showed it to me, but you said, man, it's what I really wanted. This is
what I spoke about.
Yeah.
What I talked about. What
I said, look, there are things that are happening, and the only reason why they're happening is because God is putting these things in there to happen. So, and I wish, looking back, and I talked to my wife about this, I wish I had someone that was there to kind of keep pushing me in that same direction, saying, look, God is helping you with things. God is providing that. And I should. And I know, I know better, but man, it was so much. It was so, and guess what? Just like you.
Right. And then, and the thing is, I was really trying. I looked at some other places. Like we had even through 2020 very quietly tried to strike deals to get us on I-10.
Wow.
Like I looked at some very big, and I'm gonna tell you right now, from a faith perspective, I went and tossed full into like the one place I think they wanted $8,800 a month.
Wow.
And I was like, God, if you're gonna go, you know what I'm saying? I'm all in. Like here's the worthless stuff that I got, and if you make it happen, I'll follow through. But you know what's crazy is the prayers that I prayed for, and maybe 6 years ago at this point, it's been about 5. I mean, it's been a minute. As I walked out in my backyard, I said, God, I believe in you, right? I know that you love me, right? But I know I'm struggling here. Take me out of me so I can become what you want me to be. And I think just like spiritually, like a bodybuilder, it's taken years to get some of the bad habits off of me. You can't people who hit the muscle hard, like 2 Timothy, I don't know, 2:14, maybe somewhere in that range. But it talks about exercise thyself to godliness. But the word used is exercise. It says because bodily exercise profits the body, but little. Hold on a second. You said just a little bit profits the body. Which body is he talking about? Your spiritual body? And if it takes you needing the kind of direction where I needed, like I did when I was 18, get in the gym, find a mentor that says, hey man, I'm gonna hold you responsible.
Right.
Sometimes you got to be the person holding the other people responsible. But if somebody else is saying, I'm holding you responsible, then you got to be responsible for yourself. All the way around. Self responsibility, I think, is the biggest thing that I think God is enlightened. I say enlightened would show me. He's like, hey man, if you make mistakes and things ain't right, bro, that's probably on you. Whether it's a husband, if your wife didn't get the dishes done, it's your house. You the king. Go in and do your dishes. She didn't get the laundry done. Don't complain to her. She's tired. Save that extra 15 minutes of energy she's got for some topping.
I've taken those words.
Man, you got to do that. Like you got to go back home and put that in
those words. I've taken those words from listening to you from just our podcast, not even in our general conversation, but from listening to you in our podcast, and I've applied that. You know, you said, you know what? Don't you do it, and I've done that. And guess what? Quiet. Don't even have to. Don't bring it up. I'm like, I did it. I took care of it.
Right. And the thing is, like the word fasting, right? So I don't know why I'm feeling all biblical tonight, but the word fasting, right, is to give up something. You realize that sometimes fasting in your relationship, friendships, can be you just shutting your mouth and doing it yourself. Stop depending on somebody else. Fasting from other people's, you know what I'm saying? No, but what does it do? In the end, you get a sense of, you ever notice you get a sense of accomplishment? I don't care how bad it is. Trash needs to be taken out, you took it out. Even if you come back mad, at least you sit down like the trash has been taken out.
So I feel like I've been fasting on this podcast.
From what? From hanging him arms
No,
out?
I've been fasting. I'm quiet.
No, but I mean, you get to that spot where like I said, you go the ultimate spot where where the Bible says for you to be is in prayer and fasting always. Tell me you don't go through things, and even driving here, I know you do because you talked about it last week. You prayed, God, please let this dude just not be a fool, and let me be a fool, and let me keep going. But it's that prayer moment, whether it's a stupid prayer or not. You didn't pray to Ray.
No.
Fair enough. Like you did. That's all I'm at.
I feel bad because and this was a sermon a couple of weeks back where basically he was talking about, you know, being in control of yourself, you know, and I forgot how they put it. But in the sense of it, it's really telling you, you know, always to try to be Christ-like. I don't know why road rage gets you out of the square, man.
All it says is be angry and sin not.
Does it get you?
Nothing's wrong with being angry.
Telling you, Jesus,
just don't do nothing about it.
Jesus, I am so I've always said this: don't fly too high, don't fly too low. Young Icarus, right? Young Icarus. So I love being in the middle. But if I get out of that zone, man, that's who I am for I don't know how long, and it's hard to get me back into. And so those are the things that I know I need to work on. And I've been like you, man, you've been saying that today. And I was like, damn, because it made me feel bad about the road rage situation. I think when you have, I'm going to say this in a real rudimentary way. When you have a lot of God,
you say whatever you want to say. Right?
When you have a lot of God or Jesus in your heart, it's like you said, you know what, man, I might not have 3 pennies to rub together. Man, I'm happy, I'm fulfilled, I'm content. It's a different type of thing. And so for me, I've been feeling that for a long time. And then the devil comes knocking on that traffic, man. And so I feel bad because I should have been stronger in a sense like that. But again, so it's okay. Nothing happened. No one got hurt. But at the very same time,
that's what he said.
I need to work on me and continuing to be like that in the face of.
Okay, right. So I think the only way I can possibly give you any kind of advice in that situation is like my little brother said. If you know that it's raining, my buddy Dave was over there. I showed you the quad I got. I got a little 125 quad. I'm gonna take you out there later. Right. So he brings it by. It's raining his butt off. And Dave staying out there like, Dave, I love you to death, man. Back that trailer up, put it underneath the awning outside. Let's unload it. Right? It's wet outside. I ain't ridden a bike in a little while. I'm fat. Like I'm gonna look real good in this water. Right? Like I'm gonna slide this bike all the way across. Anyway, and he's hustling, running back and forth. And if you know Dave's got some spinal injuries and some stuff, and he's really hurt. But his heart is so young that he's running back and forth. I'm like, hey man, you know when you're young, you say you do things like a kid does. You get older, you do things a little different.
Yeah.
Man, if you know you're going to get wet, you're already wet, bro. Take your time. My little brother says to me, he said, take your coat off. Walk around the rain. It ain't going to last forever. Right? If you know you're late getting somewhere, at least you're going.
Yeah.
You better off to get there safe and arrive.
Right.
And put some of that, you know what I'm saying? So then times that you feel tempted to jump up and say something, I tell my friends, I say, at that point in time, stop. Whatever takes you to, whatever song it is, it takes you into the praise level. It's like you feel like Jesus is talking to you. Find that one song. If you don't know it, get on Pandora, start finding that one song that makes you feel like God's talking to you. When you're going through something like that, you get mad. Just for 30 days. I don't know how much road page you're going to get, but give it a listen and just change the perspective of what it is. Because you're already going to get it, right?
Yeah.
Wherever you're going, God's already got a plan in time. And you don't know if it was that person getting in front of you that slowed you down and saved you from that car wreck that never happened.
True.
Right? Far too often we trying to get in a hurry. Man, you're already going. Nobody is going to really be, it's your work. Your work is the worst one. I think your work, will be late. Yeah, but I'm here.
But I'm
Most
here.
of the time, I make it here on time. Go somewhere where somebody's not chronically late. You gotta do something about that. But people ain't late all that time. Like, why are you so afraid to always be on time everywhere you're going because you run on schedule?
Yeah.
And it's when the things that you're choosing to do,
Yeah.
not things that you have to do.
Right.
Hey man, if I'm choosing to do
Like
it,
I didn't have
I'm
to do
gonna roll
brain
up, I'm
surgery.
gonna
It wasn't
roll up.
brain surgery or anything. I had to
I'm
do
rolling
it.
up when
Just as
I'm
time.
but do whatever you do, slow down, take your time. You're only getting so many minutes of the day. And in minutes of anger, upset, what I found to do is to take and
Right.
replace something.
They're on the bottom.
Down the
Look
bottom.
for these. Look for these. Gatorade. Yeah, the Gatorade is in that Bud Light line bottle.
It's in the,
Gatorade,
it's in
bro.
the whiskey bottle.
We're learning to meditate.
Oh, give me one, bro.
Oh.
Thank you, sir. Hey, what's going on?
Mario Sandoval, everybody. No, there's let's say the rest of the world is in that kind of same mindset. There's a lot of people running around angry and mad right now. I'm more thankful.
No head.
I'm more thankful that you weren't on the other side. Yeah, double them down.
So look.
And you didn't get mad. I'm thankful for that.
I've been good. So
Tell
just
me there was
like
a point in time in your life where you might have got mad enough to actually get out and off somebody.
no, for sure.
So that's growth. You're a bigger man today for not haymaking.
He is a bigger man.
So here's the thing. I wasn't a big person all my life. I was actually a small kid that got picked on.
Mm.
You sound like a cop.
I don't know what kind.
I'm just playing.
But I was a small kid that got picked on. And when you come from that, man, you know.
I've been there.
So I still, even to this day, like my personal vision of myself is not this big dude that people see. I forget that. So I tell my wife the same thing. I say, people are our mirrors. People are our mirrors because look, somebody might react to you a certain way. Like, well, why'd they react like that? Oh, you look like a big scary dude. To me, in my mindset, I'm probably some scrawny dude who,
Nothing, and you know what? I worked in the industry. I served food. They'd say, "Hey, there's a big bodybuilder out there." You know what I do to those guys? I walk out there and look around and say, "Can I help you?" Yeah, they said there was a big guy out here. I didn't see him. but that's my mindset. You already know me. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, I think was big. I'm gonna show you how big small is. Come on, let's go. I want to hang out with you, man.
So to say, like, some people have, I don't have a bully mentality at all. I'm, real laid back person.
Unless we cut you off in traffic. I'm just establishing the facts, sir.
No, that happened a lot. Man, I shouldn't even told y'all that. But anyway, so I really think I'm normally a very calm dude. But when you get that
The
monster
spark
out of the box, when you take that monster out of the box, bro.
The thing is, you are just as calm now as unless somebody around you was pumping or hyping you up when we was at the gym. I've never seen you really get all out. Like, get in there, dig down. You talk and motivate in a tone that's motivational, not
It's tone.
It's tone.
There
you go, Sam.
I have to do it.
No.
You know what I'm saying? But you've never been somebody who was an unapproachable person. You're a giant. Believe it or not, no matter how skinny you feel, bro, you are a giant of an individual.
I think I'm a regular dude.
Listen, but here's my thing: is my change in life. I want to feel spiritually the way that you look to everybody else.
So, mind. We always talk about this. Bring it up: mind, body, and soul, and those things have to move together.
Yeah.
So, I think in a lot of respects and realms, I think I probably was not feeding my soul. You know what I mean? And so at this point now, I'm learning more. I'm more in depth with the Bible. That's what I'm saying. I think that these attractions started to happen. Like all of a sudden, I start hanging out with you again. I'm like, you were going through that. You were on this. You were on this movement, and when you're going through that, man, I'm telling you, I think.
Yeah, I'm looking for people who are
God's
headed that
amazing,
way,
man. Yeah,
I'm looking for people headed that way.
And then the other thing that we like to talk about too is the community. And I picked this up really from you. The way you talked about Katie, man, and you talked about how the community was, and you know, spending $1 down the street with, you know, your neighbor. Man, I'm telling you, I think we all need to concentrate more on spending
in our neighborhoods.
And when I say spending, I don't want to make it monetary. We're Jesus, you're spending time in your community. I mean, you helped us out. You help us out every week, and I see how much you do already with the podcast service, man. So, I mean, this is inside the community, and I think people need to gravitate more towards that, man. 2020 was a wake-up call, and man, I'm gonna be honest, man. I felt great on 2020 thinking about it. 2021, I'm even more motivated. We talked about we're not scared of certain things that are out there, and I think because the world is telling us right now that you need to be scared.
Yeah.
You need to be scared. And they keep telling us this. And then it's, wait a minute. There's another variant. You need to be scared. And I think once we stop buying into actually being scared, I feel pretty damn good.
I personally don't have time to be afraid of anything right now. Like I'm in the most riskiest business and the most could be good up and down. I had a guy tell me, actually the machine shop collaborated for our own parts. Like one of the other things that come out of 2020 that nobody saw, or at least y'all haven't seen.
What was that?
Getting the machine shop. So we got a full machine shop down the street that we got a little bit of a stake in now. So, but having having things that happened or things that went on, either they were seen or unseen. I've tried to carry all the good things with me that happened in 2020 and leave the bad things in 2020 that happened.
Yeah, you don't want to bring them.
Letting go of some stuff, and that's the most important thing. At some point, to improve yourself physically, spiritually, emotionally, right? Physically, getting the mind, body, and spirit in a whole. You're gonna have to let go of some things.
I'll carry all that.
No, and you can't. It's way too much. So once you start letting go of, I think Martin Luther King said, I've chosen love because hate's just too hard. I just don't have the strength for it, bro. I don't have the strength for hateful people anymore. You come in, I'll let the dogs sniff you. Yeah, we'll see if you get past the dogs. Past that, man, I'm trusting the gifts that God gave me to say, I'm only trying to get in good community. Like I'm really searching for good community to get in. I'm not looking for just hanging out with people because I need to make money, bro. No, I'm looking to hang out with people because I want life.
Yeah.
And life is what I'm after. Life is something that, are we going to be scared? You got to get a vaccine. You going to get the vaccine. Can you travel? Can you not travel? Listen, I don't have time to even worry about this stuff right now. I'm trying to take care of my home, my first needs, and the things that I take care of. And then after that, I walk to the store every day. I walk to the corner store. Why? So people see my person, my body, my pile of dirt walking down to that store, so that I can introduce myself to people. Not right now, but I have my shirt, my shop shirt on, and let people know, hey man, we're right down there. This is where we are. I'm out in the community shaking hands, trying to introduce myself to people, and I don't know you, right? But I want you to let you know, if you in my neighborhood,
right,
this is who I am. Stop by. I'd like to get to know you.
I think it's so simple.
Nothing's hurt. Yeah, nothing's hurt by but we so afraid now. Oh man,
I can't.
He's a big dude. I might not be able to talk to him.
Yeah, but you can't even talk to people now because they put this in the world. They can't go up and even talk to somebody now.
So that's what I said. I'm not looking to be around people that are fearful, right? I come to this after the past little few things. I'm gonna say this as a white person, and the guns thing aside, and everything else. If I'm hated that much, bro, just y'all gave the Indians a nice little piece of land. You know what I'm saying? I promise I won't blow it on liquor and casinos.
You're not gonna build a casino on it?
No, I'm not building a casino. Matter of fact, y'all hate me that much. Don't come to my casino.
Don't go to my casino.
I don't think you understand. Me and you is not the same. Like, you want me to go over there? I'm going. Don't you bother me. I'm taking my guns with me. Fair enough. Our guns are in this area and this area alone. Don't you dare enter this place. Oh, you got gun violence out there? It ain't because one of our guns left. We take care of our stuff over here. No, well, it's a whole nother.
It's a whole nother game.
That's where I'm at in the mindset, man. I just want to be around peace, bro. Like, that's it.
That's it.
I don't. You want to judge me? Great, man. You got something you got to say? Just come talk to me face to face. If not, I got time. And trust me, if I'm offending you by anything, if you out there and I offend you, by all means, I'm always open to conversation. I'm willing to talk about it because I'd rather gain a friend than create an enemy.
Yes.
You know, and there's far too many people trying to go out there just looking to create enemies instead of trying to gain friends.
But so I think it's still about being open, man. You have to be open to look.
You have to let go of the fear.
Yeah, but you also have to be open to understand that. Look, everybody is a little different. A person who was raised, let's say they were born in Mexico and they came here later in life.
So hold on.
Is going to have a different outlook and view. And that doesn't mean that it's wrong.
I don't disagree with that. What you say is a very broad statement. If you take that and say that where people were born into where they were, that's the situation they were born into. When we actually go back to where we started about weather manipulation, media manipulation, and the rest of it, we live in a world that's very much manipulated. Very much manipulated. And there's not enough people standing up to say, hey, man, don't, if nothing else, stop letting yourself, again, I
enough is enough.
Every day, I find it in myself to look at a situation and try to see where I can turn that to something that's different. If nothing else, whoever runs it is eventually going to have to contact me. And I'm saying, hey, man, by the way, I own that place. Now I can reach a hand out and say, you're selling cars, they got to get fixed. Bro, what are you paying everywhere else, man? Right. I'm looking to work in my community, bro. You're right there.
But I'm trying to say, even keep your mind open. And that was a good way for you to keep your mind open on that situation. But keep your mind open, even if that viewpoint is different than yours. I mean, meditate on it. Just think about it. Just because the initial, if it's a shock about what you just heard, stay open to it because people come from different situations, different areas. Okay. Just because one view. The thing is that we're being very, you have that view, I have this view. That means that we can't be friends or anything like that. People are taking things to the extreme.
Yes.
So look, I've been thinking like this and you've been thinking like that. We're friends. But again, you're at least taking a pause when we're sitting there and talking to okay. I understand that. I see where you're coming from. Doesn't mean you agree. I see where you're coming from. That does not mean you agree, but you saying it, I understand your viewpoint. That's all it is.
You know what I like about our conversations is that through our conversations I realize something different always about when we comes. Like I really do. I find in all of our conversations, I say we're here to kind of entertain you guys with what we're doing and have a conversation. We have a lot of serious in-depth off of here, right? Yeah. And last night we went to the last week, the 13th week, right? Lucky 13. It was just crazy that it's a 13-week. Wow. I'm telling you, man, I think God works in numbers. Y'all don't believe me. I'm not some
Joe Biden's first 100 days.
Look at him.
I don't even know because I didn't pay attention to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, where was my focus at? My focus was.
I'm just saying 100 days.
It's been 100 days.
Kamala Harris.
I thought for sure we'd all. In all fairness, I'm going to break for a second. I thought we'd all be forced vaccinated and some other stuff by now. So I'm going to back off my throttle a little bit and just keep walking away. So anyway, we finished up the last one. And funny thing is, the sermon that was taught last night was actually filmed right after George Floyd. And the church pastor, I told you before camera, I kind of felt offended during the conversations there because I'm like, I'm the only person here who sees it from a different perspective than y'all. When people say, well, you don't like this, you don't like to see it from a Hispanic view or a black person view or an Oriental person. If Oriental is even the right word, did I say that or are they just Chinese? Oriental's a food.
It's probably racist, but people.
Yeah, so, but I'm saying I don't mean no offense to anybody. But at the same time, I'm the guy that after my white wife left me, I've dated nothing but ethnic women since then. And I'm like, I fight the same battle y'all fight, but we ain't talking about it. We're not having those kind of discussions. But the fact that I go to a church that has people who are open to talk about the discussions lets me know that I'm in a church community where I can now have an open conversation with people that are in my larger community around me, right? So even back to when I asked you if you've been going to church, you're going to go follow up. But my church pastor was there, and I was like, he's at the George Floyd, like he marched peacefully. He's like, because that's what Jesus would have done. And I sat on that for a second because I thought about George Floyd. He was high on fentanyl, whatever. Like we can admit he wasn't the perfect person, right?
Absolutely.
And the more I sat and thought about that, I'm like, why did church pastor go? It wasn't until a few minutes ago. Like, I very solidly felt like God said, but he died for even the thief that denied him. And that changes my mindset, changes my feelings, changes my thought. And it leads me to know that the person I'm following spiritually, because he doesn't even know me, but I'm part of that flock that's listening to whatever. Like I feel that kind of connection. And I'm happy that I feel that where I'm going, and then as an extension from my life to the kind of things that you said to me, man. Makes me feel like because I've been spending the past couple weeks wondering, am I doing the right things? Like you said, Satan comes in with that little bit of doubt. Says, you all right, you all right. But you know, or you don't know I'm going to God.
Hey, man, you got to jump.
You
got to jump.
Anyway.
He's Satan right there, man, telling the ear.
But you see what I'm saying? Like I find that revelation for myself every week. And, we get 5, 6 viewers, people listening to it, whatnot. But the thing is, we become faithful. We planted a seed in the ground, we covered it with dirt. We come in here, we water it every week. Every week we're in here doing that. And if it takes a while for that plant to grow, I hope the seeds that we planted weren't just there weren't vegetables, bro. I don't want to see something come up and die down. I'm looking for trees.
I'm looking for an avocado.
I would like to move to California, so don't get me wrong.
But that's that's why I talk about the wonder, God's wonder. Planting a seed and then just watching it grow.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it takes time. Look at this. Like today, look at the story with the whiskey. I started with him. They didn't have any, they didn't have no money. I said, I don't care about the money. I just want to plant the seed.
Right.
Today they call me back.
If you go out and you cultivate it and put it in,
it took
faith.
Time. In faith.
But the thing is, it's explained to them. And they say, well, you can't see it yet. That's the beauty of going and working out or going to church and just taking the simplicity of just go Sundays. You don't make it a whole service. You know what we end up going every Sunday? And I'll say, I got guys that I go to certain service with and they go to church with. I only come for the preaching. The rest of the praise time, I have spent all week in praise, bro. I'm ready to hear something. I need something because my soul was so tired this morning. Yeah. That I was so down and out that I was looking for something. I needed that heavy, thick protein. I didn't need that milk that was going to make my belly hurt, right? I need you to feed. You know what I'm talking about? You wake up, man. Ooh, I've been hungover from the entire Saturday. Like my whole week is like spiritually, I'm beat. I'm just trying to get there so I can get fed.
Right.
And I ain't the person who's looking for somebody to, listen, I've done tried the praise and the prayer all week long. Like, and that's what it's been for me. But it's inside that relationship over 13 weeks that keeps creating and causing the change in everything else around me. So, this is cool stuff. It didn't, you plant the seed, you put the work in, you keep going back at it. And from a body standpoint, so you walked into the gym, 115 pounds soaking wet with, a bag of cement on each foot. to being 425 pounds and 6'9".
I'm not 425.
However, but that's the kind of that's the kind of dedication that it takes to grow a tree. A tree just don't come up. Like those seasons in your life came and went, and the fact that you're to where you are today, whether it's mentally, spiritually, physically, business, it's because you get in and you keep working. And you keep working. And when you find that something doesn't work, you weed that out of your life. You get that good stuff, that good dirt, the good worm crap, and sometimes you got to get you got to get the lowest of low crap on you sometimes, metaphorically.
What is that?
God, like these orchids,
opioids.
You ever seen an orchid seed? Orchid seed's beautiful.
I've never seen an orchid seed. I've seen a bunch of orchids.
No, I'm saying, but so the seed's really pretty, but you have to bury it in the mud. And then it grows strong and comes back up and becomes something beautiful again. You got to go through some things. Stop thinking that you don't got to go through some things. No. When you make the choice to make a change, you're going to have to deal with some things. And you might as well handle them head on with self-responsibility instead of wasting time, because that's how you really learn from the people above you. Like if you don't I don't have you as a mentor and say, I don't know if Ray really got it right. I had another guy I worked with. I did shoulders and traps, right? The trainer this week, he's like, "Hey man, you're a big old white good dude." I'm like, "Hey man, thank you very much." But I'm working out, and he's like, I told him, I said, you realize, I said, I never get side laterals with anything more than 10 pounds. It was 10-pound plates until I could not squeeze my shoulders any longer. I had a broken collarbone as a kid. I ought to be bent up like this, and I'm not, right? But to overcome that and pull my skeletal tissue back into place, 10-pound plates, 45-pound plate shrugs, bro. And I wanted to have shoulders like you, but I couldn't move the size, the mass, and the thickness because of the way my body was built. So I had to find a different program to pack that mass on my body for myself.
I had these shoulders because when you don't know a lot, you telling people I don't know. So you just lift the weight. So I worked out all day long. I don't know.
That's so it's in you.
Yeah. Okay, where did you? I know.
I don't know. No say.
No, I'm saying like, man, that guy's got great shoulders.
Like, he must not know nothing.
I wasn't
English.
no say English.
How's the week going? How's everything going, man? That's good. Have you experienced anybody around you that is having difficulty with taking the vaccine at this point?
Taking the vaccine? Yeah.
People who are you seeing more divisions from, say, the past couple of weeks between? Because the other day we all got an alert. You guys got an alert on your phone? Hey, run down to, go down to Reliance Stadium and go.
For real? I didn't even
go to Reliance Stadium. You
and
get vaccinated.
emails.
See, you're already in the system. That's why this.
They probably won't.
I got the chip inside me already.
They probably have.
Yeah, you already have. Yeah, you already have.
You've been programmed. You've been programmed.
That's why I'm glad Ray's sitting next to you today. I appreciate you.
No, but
you got the
big block.
Okay, cool. So here's what's going on right now, and I'm starting. It's not about color anymore. It's about who's got it, who doesn't.
Yes, it is.
So I went to.
Racism wasn't working.
It wasn't working. They figured something new out. So I went to a get together on Saturday. First get together, buddy of mine turned 50, so I said, I got to go.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But the majority of the people there have been vaccinated.
Okay.
So me and my wife.
That's a whole lot of flu being distributed.
So I just didn't say anything. At that point, it's to the point to where I was like, you know what? Okay. Because they're like, well, everybody's vaccinated now. So everybody has the vibe or the feeling that everyone has now been vaccinated. And to me, again, I showed you guys my vaccine right here. I don't see a need for the vaccine.
No, you're taking care of yourself.
No.
So I don't see it. And again, this is, my personal choice.
And nobody gets sick.
Even medicine itself, you don't need it. It's just your mindset.
No, I believe that too. But I also believe that we, God showed man how to make these things. I don't believe that. I believe that we gained the knowledge to be able to use penicillin and stuff like that.
Yeah, and when they brought people to Jesus, Jesus said the sick need a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that, medical technology. Okay, I believe that.
Yeah.
Again, I'm just not comfortable with the vaccine at this point. But more so, I don't believe in taking medicine if you don't need it.
There you go. So you don't need it.
I'm not okay because it's not. I'm not seeing people, like I said, falling out dead. It's more about, well, you can travel if we get it, but if you get it, then you can get this. It sounds to me like you're selling my freedom back.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a fishing license, right?
Yeah, and that's not fair.
Or a hunting license. Like this is the way this thing sounds to me. The whole COVID thing to me sounds like you've taken a right away from me. But if I listen to you, you'll give me that right back. America is the only place where I believe in myself that you get the freedom to choose and be you. I have this conversation. They said, well, that person's a racist. I'm not saying that I don't disagree with them. And as much as I hate them, whether that they're white and hate black or black and hate white, or however that works out, that they're racist, or even friends of mine who come from Mexico and they're like 5th generation Hispanic American, and the other one's like they married a girl who was from Mexico, right? There's a hatred in that group too.
Of what?
Because one of them's been here long, one's more Americanized than the other. I'm just saying, I've experienced it, I've seen it, firsthand all over. And when the vaccine looks more and more like, I'll agree, is that it's, are you vaccinated or not vaccinated? Are you going to be allowed or not allowed? What's good or bad for you because you have or don't have? And to say, and I saw that, I saw something where I guess the CDC come out and said, well, if you had the vaccination, then guess what? You're free to go do all these things, but if you get in a large group, you got to still wear a mask.
But here's the thing, though. Once they put that out, that's what we're doing here, though. Yeah. When I go outside, if I'm outside,
so Fauci said, they asked Fauci about Texas. It was like, well, why is Texas doing so well? He's like, oh, well, that's because they learned to behave themselves. No, they
What
haven't.
does that mean?
We have a group
What does that
immunity.
mean? Yeah.
We,
What does that
we are
mean?
exposing ourselves to each other enough.
Shit.
Trust me, I'm way more worried about what I pick up at my local bar because a condom broke than than what I'm gonna
Here's
take
the
because of that.
thing. Here's the
He
thing.
said, hook me
I-
up. I'll party with you.
So I still live the same type of lifestyle though.
Right.
Again, when I was saying that, if I thought that you guys went out and you were raving, and then all of a sudden we come to a podcast on Wednesday, then I was like, look, I can't hang out with you guys for
I had
a
a
podcast.
really bad migraine the other day. I got a pinch psychiatric nerve, dude. We're good.
All right, I'm trying to tell you though, if you get that migraine, man, that's my body telling me I've been around somebody who's got COVID. But the main thing though is if you where was I at with this? Made me lose my train
You're
of
off
thought.
on that conspiracy, man. You so far.
I'm
down
not
the
on
rabbit hole,
conspiracy
you're
It's about the
man.
weather, man. It's manipulated. Monopoly. Maybe.
So look, I don't take.
Trademark.
Look, if you don't have a headache, you don't take Tylenol. So with this, what I'm trying to say, it's a medicine, and I recognize it as being a medicine. You know, as a vaccine, as a, you know,
It's the extra stuff.
What happened to the flu?
it's still
Like
out there.
nobody talks about it anymore. It's like, whoa, COVID. What happened to the
It's still
flu?
out there. I'm sure.
I heard from somebody that told me
At
that.
this point, we're finding people that are, well, what happened? I think the original COVID case numbers popped up because of what I would say, why I was so mass media driven easily is that people were dying and they were testing them after the fact and just calling it COVID.
Yeah,
But it was on both sides.
yeah.
No.
It was on both sides.
I'm saying the
There are
WHO,
people that died and they
the
never
WHO,
said that it
the
was.
World Health Organization, and the rest of them who are pushing this, right? That's just still the way I feel about it. And I'm not saying, Donald Trump was not a savior, right? The guy should have shut up a long time
Yeah,
ago.
but I don't know if he
But
had
I
anything
think
to do
that
with the WHO,
I think the entire political thing that come down last year, even up to putting people like in it, it's bad enough that George Floyd was put in his situation. It's even worse that the media pushed it to a spot
Too
that
much.
people were hurting each other,
Yes.
right? And were risking more lives out of hatred.
That's what they wanted.
Hatred enough should have stopped at day one, and we should have all adjusted, and we should have discussed it then.
But how dumb are we to
follow
react
into that
and follow
manipulation?
that? Come on, I mean,
So I'm not mad initially, you know, when it first happened, because again, it's just like the road rage. You get that initial reaction, your blood's boiling. You know what I mean?
yeah, because
You
I
get
used
that-
to be road rage
You're
back
like,
in the day.
whoa, you know, because everything's coming. It's just very. But if you take a second, a moment, and this is what I should have done in the road. If I would have
Breathe
took a woo-saw moment, you know, count to
Look at
10,
yourself.
yeah, something like that. If I was just said, you know what, this is not. It puts it back into perspective to where you understand. You know what, this is not that big.
No.
You know what?
'Cause
Hey, apologize. I'm sorry for my part. But the other thing is the same thing with the George Floyd situation was that it was such a, and like I said, I keep telling people that it was the perfect storm. It's the perfect storm, I say, because of what? Everybody was on lockdown. They were in the house for long periods of time. And then what happened? That happened, so people wanted to get out no matter what in March.
Did y'all know that in 2019 a Hispanic guy was killed the same way
The
as
same way
Floyd?
as George Floyd.
And but nobody's pushing it. They just put that news
Now,
2 days ago. And my mom was like, that was in 2019.
Yeah.
Did you see that they did the same thing? And that kid was sick. He had ADHD.
wow.
He was like our age, like 28.
yeah.
But he was those kids that needed the medicine. And the cop, he was like, what are you doing? Like, and he died. In the same way, they put and then then Floyd happened. And I was like, whoa, Mom, I didn't know that shit happened.
My beef is, and again, that's what I was talking about earlier today. Was I more want to talk about police and the citizens' relationships more than, because again, I don't think the problem is black and blue, black and white. I think the problem is more. I would almost say black and blue, but I want to say it's really policing, and then what our world is today. I just think that maybe they don't fit.
No.
I don't think
There's
they
too
fit.
much hatred in the world, too much of everything that now everybody's walking like a zombie. Like, what to believe? So many shit. Do I believe that? Do I believe that? Do I believe that? Man, it's been in centuries. Is this?
Which goes back to the very beginning. It's about community.
Yeah.
We're allowing ourselves to be so infiltrated with everything else around us, and if that doesn't work, it's almost like, well, here, let's try something different.
So
right?
watch this.
So I'm saying temptation in itself, all the way around, is that back to the tree of knowledge of good and evil, is it your choice to make a positive choice or a negative choice towards each other than humanity.
That's very true.
But could we even do this? Going back to community, could we use this as an isolated incident that happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota, which another case also happened in Minneapolis as well?
Mm.
That's there. But let's stay with community. That community of Minneapolis has an issue.
Mm.
Do we have an issue here?
No.
Oh, bro.
So but I'm only to what we're seeing outside of our. That's outside of our community.
No. Okay, so we went through the discussion last night at church, and one of the things that set hard with me, you know, the first 8.5 years I worked here, I worked on DeSoto in Acres Homes. I don't know how many times I went to work and either saw somebody with a gun, cocaine,
Probably crack more than cocaine.
Yeah, but when I lived on when I realized when they moved the ceiling tiles, it's where they were storing the crack at. I stopped going to that bathroom. I started using the other one. Like I went into the office bathrooms from that point on. Like I don't even want to be associated near or around. I'm not judging you, but I'm going to walk over there. Right? I don't know how many times there was gunfire. Like the buildings I was in had bullet holes, or a bullet entered the building while I was in there. Like it I think 3 times we had the buildings hit where we have a bullet shell. I've seen guys unload AK-47 right in the parking lot, right? Just shoots it all up in the air. I'm like, what are you doing? Like that's the worst thing you could do.
Yeah.
At least shoot it at the trees or the ground, like somewhere it's going to dig into something. Don't pop the shells in the air. Police show up and the rest of the stuff. He was a really good guy. Made a really bad decision, right? I went to the gym with him a few times. He came to goals with me a few times, but it was like those guys just keep making like bad decisions all the time. And it was a rough situation. And
I lived on DeSoto.
I'm not saying, but for me coming up,
on there.
It sounded like over the Rhine in Cincinnati. So I didn't even know. I showed up at Antoine one time at like 4:30 in the morning. Walk in, I'm tired, right? I'm trying to go in. I'm working maintenance. I get there, walk in, didn't really pay attention. Got me cigarettes and a coffee and some donuts or whatever. Look up and I'm like, oh crap, there's a pimp. There's the hookers. Oh God, that guy's a drug dealer. I was like, oh Jesus Christ, what did I just get myself into? I'm reaching in my pocket full of waiter's cash from the day before. The lady's like, hey, you got a cigarette? Nope. You got $5? No ma'am. Put everything I had in the tank. I walked all the way. When I finally got done, I took out 2 cigarettes, laid them on the gas pump, and I was like, you know what? Thank you. Have a nice day. I'm leaving, right? The very best I could do was not get shot, killed, robbed. I had crackheads come up and knock on the windows trying to get in my truck. And I'm like, hey, man, yeah, I finally started carrying a wrench around. I was like, I will knock that last tooth clear out your behind if you don't get your hands off my truck, man. I didn't put you here. Stop making these decisions. Stop. Please leave me be. I come out of there. I'm driving my orange car. I get pulled over. Cops like, how'd your lock get busted? I'm like, waiting tables. They busted a lock in my orange Mustang. And I was like, are you profiling me? He's like, I'm just saying, white guy, nice car, black neighborhood. Cool, man. My license registration hung it out the window. And I was like, from that point on, I was like, you know what? It happens on both sides. And I hadn't had anything to do with it. And it made me further kind of push myself into, I want to stay in my community. I want to stay, and having an opportunity to be here. But at the same time, while I was there, I made sure to go to the gas stations. I made sure to get out, make myself be seen. That way, it wasn't I just seen him in the morning. I've seen that person in multiple situations because I might have been the only person that was ever white. That was nice.
What I'm by community is your community does not look just like you.
No,
your community looks like everybody here.
Your community looks like.
But so does Minneapolis, Minnesota. Their community looks like a hodgepodge too. So again,
but we don't. So in that, do you think within, I don't know, what do you want to say, last week, 24 hours? Like there's been a murder. Something's happened here in Houston in the last little bit. And nobody has put it on media.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
No, I'm just saying, but I would say that because I haven't seen it pushed on Facebook. It's not, we're not seeing, but I'm saying that we had a loss of life yesterday, even today, that's not being pushed in the media because it's not having, it don't have political agenda. No, it's not good. It's not good laundry to wash out and get all the dirt you can to create division and whatnot. So
what I'm trying with is that when we talk about Minneapolis, Minnesota, which another case happened where some cop killed
I would
a
never
black
even
person.
imagine that it happened in Minneapolis.
So only thing I would say is maybe it's that community. But does that mean that we all look at our communities and say, yeah, like our cop down the street is doing bad stuff because we saw that in that community? Why would that doesn't equate really though, does it?
We're not talking about this area code set of cops. I'm not going to say that. And it goes back to.
But do you judge those cops,
bro? I
much like you would judge?
No. I'm going to be very fair on it. I've got two brother-in-laws that are cops. I still don't like to see a cop behind me.
No, I'm with you.
Ever. Because trust me, the minute I see him behind me, he's judging me, I'm judging him.
But do you think that cop is the same like the cops in only thing I can say is that I don't think
no, these just like to get the taxpayers' money.
The only thing I'm trying to say is I think we need to dissect what's going on a little bit further. So don't look at the surface. Let's go a little deeper into what's going on and what's really happening. That might be their issue. We need to police, maybe the men. Something's going on. Are we gonna fire the mayor of Houston because that happened over there?
No.
That's not our community.
No, I know that's understandable.
And the thing is, because it's not our community, it is that community's job to do something about it in their community.
Mm-hmm. Right. But so what is our responsibility here then?
To not behave
as them.
Yeah, I hate to say that, but we Houston strong. We just Houston driver dumb, bro. I've always say that. Like,
because look, and I'm here. I recognize I'm black.
Are you what? Does your mom know about this?
But the big thing is, what I'm trying to say is, I don't agree with rioting. I don't agree with tearing up your neighborhood. Totally, 100%. Here's the thing. I think the older you get as a person, I think the more conservative you become. Police are good. In general, police are good.
Don't call them to get the cat out of the tree.
Don't call the police to get the cat out of the tree. Why would you do that? I think the police are asked to do too many things. Yeah. That's one thing. I would not say defund the police. I would say stop calling them for frivolous things.
So because we don't have a police officer here to talk about it.
We probably should get the police officer.
We need to.
Yeah,
I got a couple of cops like Mike.
Me too.
But I think those guys, because the two that I know feel like I think they're desensitized because they have actually seen way more than we have to.
Oh, yeah.
Like they do get desensitized to.
That's true.
What's going on because we don't? They're here to serve a purpose, but we're not talking about the times that they see incest in the family. Yeah. Somebody got murdered. Grandma got robbed. Somebody's daughter got raped. Like all we're seeing is what the media is feeding us, which puts us into a mindset to say that all cops are the same. They're like me and you. They're dealing with the guy in traffic, right? It's just that they took a job that has this extra weight to it, because it's about community control.
But you wouldn't leave
if needed.
You wouldn't leave a soldier in a war for 20 years. You wouldn't do that.
No.
Why would you leave a police officer on the front lines? I'm going to call it front lines.
Front lines, yeah.
Why would you leave a police officer on the front lines for 20 years?
Well, I'll take it one step further. When Alan graduated high school, I literally asked him, I was like, bro, do you want to go to the military? And he's like, no, I don't. And I was like, that made me very happy because at that point, I'd have traded him lives and took that 18-year-old, to defend the country. Like for me, if they'd let older guys like me go in.
Too late for you, bro.
I'm 43.
They
bro.
won't let you. They won't let you.
I'm at 35.
We don't know now.
They take Allen, but they won't take you.
We don't know now. They were like, put them in the front of the line.
I'm saying, but for me, for the country I live in, I would have rather put myself in the place of harm's way, like some of these parents do for their children to get them here. That I think for that kind of relates to who I am as a person. Because I'd much rather take your shoes. You go find peace and happiness. I'll go make sure that you're safe.
I don't
need to do that. But we need to do that more in our community towards each other.
But I don't think you should subject a person. Police are people. No. I don't think you should subject a person to seeing those type of things over a long period of time without expecting that those things are going to affect them.
Yeah. They're going to be.
We're leaving them out there on the front lines and seeing things that man.
So in the back statement, because we're not police, I wonder how often they actually give those guys psychiatric evaluations.
That is
like not just a pencil whip.
Unless there's a need to, why would they give them?
I'm just saying, if you have a couple of cop friends, these are questions that somebody
going to show up any kind of chinks in their armor. I don't think so. They're going to, hey, look, man, this is what we do. So
I took a test when I was in my early 20s. I'm 43.
Mhm.
At 23, I took the Ohio State Troopers test. I went through the exams, took all the stuff. I'm healthy. Everything's going right. I actually had a set date for me to leave to go to like their little boot camp thing that they do to you prior to going in. They said it's like the second hardest thing to the Marines, I guess. Kind of like they're rough. The state trooper boys are. That's why they mean, no joke. But I went and I decided to take the job at the steel mill instead. And by the time they finally called me, I already had a different job. And my wife at the time, my kids' mother, says, "I don't want you to go." So I turned it down. After thinking about it for a couple of days, I called them back up. I'm like, "Hey, can I?" And she, you know what they told me? No, I cannot. I couldn't go back and still accept it, even though the offer was on and class hadn't started, because they couldn't take people, even though I made it through all the rest of the crap, who would second guess themselves on the force.
Yeah.
And she's like, "It was a yes, no question the day we offered it to you." And I was like, "Wow, that really hit home," because I'm I said 43, man. I have 20 years, and I would be in the position we're talking about right now.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly.
I could have been there.
Possibly.
Yeah.
We don't know.
No, instead it got way worse. I took the.
No, we just don't know. We don't know. I mean,
took the road.
that is a rough job.
No, I just wanted to go fast and pull people over. I'm like, "Hey, man, tag, you're it," and I'm out.
Forget the red light.
It's 3 homes from a 30. We're doing this. Like,
But I at least think we should start to look at doing something to protect the police as well as protect the citizens. When I say protect, I mean, again, don't have them getting cats out of trees. Don't have them doing.
Listen, if you don't need the cops
thin.
right now, I would say if I was a person who felt like the cops had something against me, if I could handle it myself without calling the police, I think I would probably see if I can make better decisions before I call them.
I think that with everything. I think look, before you go to the doctor, try and do everything you can. If you can't handle it, go to the doctor.
Try to resolve it.
I think that's how you do it.
And if you have to resolve it with violence, probably the wrong answer.
The wrong answer. Yeah.
We have to. If it's peaceful that we're supposed to do, then we need to find a way to be peaceful with each other. And at the same time, it's horrible to say, but I would rather, separate myself from people's anger than partake in it any longer.
The thing is, if you look in the headlines, so I looked at the headlines today, thinking maybe current events for today, right? There are at least 3 different stories about how the cops shot somebody or killed somebody or did something.
But is it just? But you're saying it's never changed.
No,
it's never changed. So is it
I'm
just
saying that this is always
a hot enough topic to keep selling newspapers?
I mean, it's been consistent.
So
to me,
what's the fallout from every report?
There's zero fallout. To me, have you seen anything happen?
I know. I'm saying I haven't seen any like that.
Zero
I'm
fallout.
just saying right now we don't have. So what we have a couple of weeks ago? Some sort of gun violence. They started back on guns. Now we're gonna. I don't know. There's so many issues I feel like that Americans themselves are facing. Whether you're right, left leaning, whichever. I mean, I know I've read of some sort, and I right to possess a firearm. So that being the case, I think people overall who would be creating gun violence or doing these things, we'd hear or see a lot more. Now, if they want to start taking away more rights, which I ultimately feel like that's COVID is almost like the gateway drug to the stripping rights away, is to say, hey, you don't have a passport, you're not vaccinated, you really can't work here. If you're not vaccinated, we really don't want you to come inside. And they're pushing people to a point to where, if you don't take a vaccination, then you can't work in healthcare.
Yeah.
Think about how many Latinos work in healthcare that you know. And I think there's more Latinos that I know that work in healthcare versus people of any other
There's a lot of them
ethnicity right now in my life. Personally, I'm just saying from my own personal.
I know a lot of Filipinos.
Yeah,
there you go.
But they're taking the jobs and they're not in their home countries, right? It's a lot easier just to do it because why? You're going to keep your job. You don't have to worry about, because there's always that, oh, you're not white, you're not American. They don't like you, want to get rid of you. Actually, no. I think if you all, keep it up. I'm very sad that I got a vasectomy. I would love to have a couple of kids of my own that weren't the same color.
I'm ready. I'm guys.
No.
Anyway, I just so in a lot of the headlines today, there have been a lot of things specifically about the police. One, sometimes it happens to be about mental health, and again, I think that's an area where there's something with that. I think as a first world society, there's something else that I'm sure that we can probably put together that can also assist with people who have mental issues. So on the way here, it wasn't road rage, but I saw this black guy.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
We don't want you to say that.
He was at the gas station. I saw him talking to himself and then just started punching.
Oh yeah, I've seen a lot of them.
So you already know that this dude ain't rap right. Yeah. I'm like, man, and I'm looking at him like, man, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna hear a story about how the cops were called on him, and then it didn't go right. There's so many stories where there's a person that has mental issues. They call the cops out because that's what we call.
And the person gets.
And then, but again, the cops shouldn't be getting cats out of trees. That's a cat in a tree. Call somebody to get that person help.
Need some help.
I don't think it's the cops, but they call the cops and they're the first responders. And then all of a sudden, when things go wrong,
instead of putting the fires out, they start putting gasoline.
I'm just saying. I think that maybe we can look at other alternatives than to send the police for those type of things. That dude clearly has some issues, and I'm sure. I said, man, somebody's gonna call the cops on this dude. Dude just looking aggressive. He looked aggressive. I mean, I could see him like, dude looks a little aggressive. Like,
you know, it's bad. We have our fair share of junkies and crackheads in the Katy area, and depending on what time of day you're out and driving around, what areas you're in, you're going to see people messed up.
You're going to see some things.
You're going to see some things, like, you know. And then so they're back to that.
But what are they going to do? They're going. I see this guy. He's out there. He's doing this. The police come.
Oh, we went out and passed some guy one night walking across the bridge on I-10. Looked like he escaped from a hospital because he had a gown and a dress on. Man. And I'm like, do I call? Do I not call? Finally, I was like, all right, man. I went ahead and made the call. I'm like, this guy, I don't know if he's walking up there to throw himself off a bridge or if he just escaped from the hospital. But I would say he's walking on the highway and over a high bridge. There's been a lot of people jumping off this bridge.
Yeah,
so I made a decision call to call them. Half an hour later, I'm asleep. And they called me 911. We were calling about. I'm like, oh, hold on a second. Like, don't show up to my place.
Right. They're like, what happened?
I had a few drinks on the ride home. This isn't about me. This is about the jumper, bro.
No, let's go.
I don't say nada. I don't see nothing. We don't need an interpreter.
But there's gotta be some kind of negotiate. Somebody, man, to be able to talk to those people or know, hey, look, this dude's having this type of situation. So I don't know.
I think the biggest part is I hope that there's more. Like I said, I'm watching this, a couple of viewers. I really hope that there's more people out there who are feeling the way we're feeling right now. And I think we are. I think those of us who are level-headed and haven't found the proper common ground between each other is probably a lot higher than what we realize. Or probably we'd be a whole lot stronger if we learned to stand together instead of being torn apart so easily all the time.
The other thing is put yourself in that position. I'm a cop. I go out to a call. Seems like he's crazy, man. I don't want to I'll say mentally ill. Mentally ill. And the cops, I've seen them do it on calls, man, where they try to do everything right, and then something happens, and then the cops get blamed. They put a spit hood, which I never even heard of that. The guy was spitting, so they put a spit hood on him, which is really just a bag over the guy's head. So whatever happens, this guy passes away, and now all the cops that responded are in trouble. And all they did was wait. They put that on him and waited.
And I say the horrible side of the story is, I think for some people, is that when we hear and see these stories where we both kind of agree, cops were in the wrong, the guy was smacked out on drugs. His family knew he was on drugs, bro. His community.
This dude might have been too. He might have either. Yeah.
His community failed him long before the cops failed him.
Then the same thing with the show.
To be fair, that's my view on it. Like the people around. If you know that person's, and we all have them, right? I mean, I got my own trailer park trash family members. True, don't get me wrong. Like these are people the same way that I'm like, well, I kind of sad case, but I know other people are closer to that person than I am. So how close to the fire do I have to be, or how far away can I be from it before I get burnt again because somebody else makes a bad decision?
But to make the call, you're making a call for help. Really, what you're telling somebody is, look, I don't have anything for this situation. This situation is above me.
If they're called out there and it looks like that person's done and quarantine off the area per se, but I just think we should have better protocol for what our police are doing. But we can't because we're too busy answering calls, getting people out of the trees.
Yeah,
I saw plenty of cops on the streets when they had Tax 2K here. They're all running around trying to run people down for tickets. Where are those guys out during the day when people are awake?
That's a different situation.
No, I'm just saying. Like, it's at nighttime. We got a lot of people on patrol working extras.
Yeah,
working double. We don't. Well. Anyway, a whole nother situation. People go to work, right? Somebody shows up. Somebody don't, man up, man down. If you're not prepared in the situation you're in to deal with or without help, you probably shouldn't be the cop anyway. You know.
True.
I mean, why would you engage somebody when you knew that you were, taking better? I said it's a lot of the cops put themselves in situations too where I feel like they endanger themselves and then have to make those decisions. The guy's crazy and he's going nuts. Instead of going out there and trying to gangbang him down, quarantine off the block, set up a perimeter, get somebody to try to talk to him. Take a little time to be individualized,
not just
instead of just trying to push somebody through the judicial system of, well, there's a crackhead, I got shot today, and it's done. It's done. Not if he's bad or somebody didn't care enough about his life.
That's true.
And that we end up in the same field situation. And in the end, we're still failing.
Yeah.
As humans, a grander scale.
I was also talking to a guy at work today because I said the same thing. Nothing's changed under the sun. I think police have been policing the same way for years. He showed me something. There was a video of a gentleman who had a gun. He was putting the gun up to his head. He was sitting in Miller Street in the chair. And he was putting the chair. He put the gun down several times too. They didn't shoot him, but he was putting the gun up to his head, threatening to kill himself, and gave the police enough time. What they did was just, very similar to what you said. Stayed away from the dude, kind of let him play out. But there was a sniper way out in the back, and he shot the gun out the guy's hand. The thing is, this was 10 years ago. I looked at the video up. It was 10 years ago on YouTube. At least the video put on YouTube was 10 years ago. Today, they're not waiting for this dude to put the gun down.
No. Boom.
So, because I didn't believe him. He told me, I think there's something that has changed in the way that police are operating
or responding.
Well, did you hear that they had a system like to go through the mental system? They were fit to be a cop. Now they're just taking the applications.
You think they're doing that? I still think they're doing the same thing.
Before COVID, they said that they were gonna supposedly change that there was gonna be more of that.
So
I thought they always had the
what scares
psychiatric.
You know what scares me about that is though, if you're saying that it's happening more frequent and it's going on, what if they're actually picking people who are a little more violent today mentally than they were before?
What do you mean?
Police. I'm saying if I was vetting
the police are
no, I'm saying I'm saying it's a fraternal order. Realize this is a fraternity. We don't belong to the Black Skulls per se.
But there's still a process, though, right?
But I'm saying that somebody that process. Yeah. We as a general population, we as a general public, as taxpayers, the way that it's set up is we do have control over what's going on around us. We, the sheep, have given up way too much power to people who want to be, over top of us. And I think we overall are allowing way too much of that influence. And now all I'm saying is to be conspiracy theorists on the other side, because you're saying it's happening.
Yeah, but wow. Now I'm pulling back the other way. Go.
What if the mentality that they've been looking for more of the modern day police officer is those who are going to be not as stable mentally because they're just grabbing people, putting them in jobs for bodies? If it's being ran, can we agree there's dirty cops?
Yeah.
There's dirty politicians.
I'm going to say they're bad people.
I'm saying that dirty cops,
I believe they're bad people.
Dirty cops and politicians need one thing to contain control of the people through fear, and that's control of crime.
Control of crime.
Yeah. And if I went too far down the rabbit hole, let me know. But if you're saying it's happening more often, the first question I'm getting to myself is there a possibility at all that we're finding ourselves with more people, more bodies filling jobs that are a little more unstable than they were before because we keep looking where we don't know the population what they're filling people with.
You think they purposefully
chose I can say that
people that might not be?
And I say this because I watched Chapo, right? I watched the whole series. What's so different from their country to ours? Because in all reality,
hey Ray, can you bring me that water is in the freezer?
War on drugs, right? Reagan and them are still a big part of it, and Mexico didn't get even better. If anything, the war on drugs made things even worse. Yeah. In America.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I hope it's not ice stuff, but.
So I'm gonna get off that. We're getting close to being done. I'm not open up no more. But all I'm saying is that what is the possibility that these kind of things are happening? And I simply always say that because I look at the person with the worst mindset of, right? Yeah. Who is wanting to ultimately control? Worst case scenario. What will human beings go through to control each other And fear, I think we all can continue to say, is fear is the ultimate driving factor for everything.
Fear mongering.
If you take yourself outside of that for a second and sit down just with yourself and inside your community, remove the fear.
You wouldn't even think about that.
No, we're not thinking about it.
Because I don't even think about it.
I purposely do everything I can to not have interaction with police.
Like you were saying, I don't watch the news like you have there.
Yeah,
but I know it's here.
Yeah.
Like when I try to.
We watch a lot of Gilligan's Island here at the shop.
But that's better. You get your mind off then.
Yeah, off of just the trash that's being constantly poured into it. We'll wait for him to get back. You got anything else? Valid points. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you, Keenan. We appreciate you, buddy. Very faithful about watching. We're going to have you on here one day because I know that you would have way more than enough to say, and I could sit down and not.
Hey, I had fun that day playing with the kids for like 5 hours through football.
At Keenan's birthday party.
Yeah, the other guy's like, doesn't your hand hurt?
Reggie, I know you don't eat crawfish, but the crawfish was good. The boiled eggs, never had boiled eggs in the crawfish before, so that was something I was looking forward to. The hamburger.
But the burger was good. I only ate half of it.
Keenan, if you're still watching, tell me that the hamburger meat that you used at your birthday party
is
still something part of, because Keenan made the hamburgers for us that day at the shop when we had the opening day. The meat you donated, absolutely excellent. His cooking, everything that come out, them burgers were good. We went to Keenan. Me and him got a chance to go to Keenan's birthday party last week.
Yeah.
And he grilled some hamburgers. They had grilled smoked. They had smoked hamburgers.
What? Good.
Barbecue, like
Look cake.
Oh my goodness.
Nice.
Oh my goodness, bro. They were nice. That my friend, that guy is a connoisseur of cooking. Like he's got it together. So
it was nice, dude.
Yeah.
I was playing with the kids.
Yeah.
He threw football for a couple. Like
man,
we had
my arm the next day, man.
It's worn out. Yeah. See, it's time to get you in the gym too. That's all it is. Anyway, you got anything else, man? You good for the week?
Man,
what you got planned for the week? Real quick.
So anyway, like you were saying, to start everything off, was a busy week for me. Got a new cow in the freezer, so plenty of meat.
We need to get that barbacoa.
Man, I'm gonna check because I sold the head already.
Oh, okay.
Let me
La
know.
cabeza. I know that's true. La cabeza.
Cheek meat.
Man, the whole head. You put the whole head, make those tamales. It's
yeah.
Yeah.
But the
barbacoa, I'm gonna ask for the.
So you still got the ribs?
Still got ribs, man.
Well, so you still
I got those
brisket?
Flintstone, big old brontosaurus ribs.
We need that.
And then I got some nice tomahawk steaks and stuff too. So I'm excited, man. It's been a while. It's been a while because the freeze really knocked us. The freeze knocked us out. But I know. I'm back in business, so it's good. So it's been a busy week. Got my worms, man. Hey, man, I've
never seen anybody happier about poop in my life, and you have given me a whole new
poop.
Look, well, that's what we call it, right? We call them crap boxes. They're boxes. They're pieces of crap. Like
man. Hey, look.
So I realize the feeling over how excited you can get for something that's completely worthless.
Oh man, and I know that it doesn't mean anything to anybody, but you get excited about something.
But to you, because that's
sometimes that crap means nothing more than something to yourself, right?
It's just crap. It's just crap.
Hey,
I'm about to go.
So quickly, I've seen you've been doing a lot more. You got a lot more going on.
You've been busy, bro.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I've been telling you, the community and us praying, and I've been praying to God. Hey, God, just put me the people that believe in my mission, my vision, and the people that I believe in their mission and vision. And through there, let me roll and see how it goes. And I'm doing it through you.
But also last week, it was just me and him, right?
Yeah.
Something you had a positive note in the personal life, right?
Oh yeah. Because I mean, we're working on to get a house and stuff like that.
That's good stuff.
We're gonna rent a house.
You're staying local too.
Because my daughter's about to come and for more time.
Yeah.
She's gonna put her in school here, and that was what I was praying too. Like I didn't want to get into a fighting. She told me, she said, no, it's about time she comes to you, and then she comes to me only on vacation. So I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I didn't say anything. My mind is like, whoa, the prayers work. But the prayer, like it took time. But I mean, if
same thing. God allow me to be ready to receive the thing.
Yeah.
Then I know
my mom said, and it's good because if it would have happened before, you weren't ready.
Right.
You were still in a lot of changes.
But also imagine, like if you weren't ready.
No, and even if she said, my mom said, even if she would have came earlier,
you were a much more comfortable life. Like, everything should be a lot more the smoother transition.
Right.
You would have still handled this shit, man. Because I see you.
No, I know you would handle it. But the whole thing about you and then your ex,
Oh,
you know, it's about handling that.
Oh,
relationship
yeah.
because
And
you
we're
still have to
good, dude.
understand- Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that you guys are good,
Yeah.
now you can actually work in a better environment for your daughter too.
Yeah,
So
like right
that's
now,
good. That's
this
good.
whole week she's been going to a specialist because the stress of everything that went out, and she got overweight,
Yeah.
and then her blood sugar, she almost have diabetes,
Oh,
so she's
man.
like there.
Yeah.
So they had to take it like to a specialist that is not even in Mexico. They had to take it to Torreon,
Wow.
Mexico, and it's money. All of that, but it's like
Yeah.
I'm sending it, and I had to send again, and it's like
Yeah.
to me, it's like I don't care of me if I
But you were
could
blessed
just
enough to be able
if I can just feed myself and have a bed to sleep,
Right.
but she is the one that I care right now because when she calls me now, Daddy, I'm ready to go see you, and she's I'm happy that I'm gonna be there with you more time.
That's good.
I want to go and spend time with all the kids. I've
That's
been
good.
watching you with the videos. I want to go there with you, and all of that. It makes me cry, dude.
Yeah.
Like I'm like,
Hey, look, when she comes, I know we do our cast a little late, but man,
oh yeah,
I would like you to bring her, man.
Oh,
I mean,
definitely.
feel like we know your story, man.
Definitely.
So I mean, definitely to complete the story.
Oh yeah.
It would be nice for her to come
And people
see
will
it.
know when she's here. Like I will have her with me. I'll take her because I mean we're entrepreneurs. I don't have to ask for a boss. So hey, I do gotta take her. No, I can take her with me,
Take it with
Right.
you.
and because she wants
The
to be a
choice-
YouTuber.
Yeah, the choice,
So
the choice to live free, right?
yeah, so I'm like that
Good
camera
stuff.
right there. Like that's gonna be for her. I'm gonna invest on another one because she wants to be a YouTuber. That's perfect for her.
Nice.
I just teach, and we have resources. I said the more we know, we can put resources for her to learn here,
Community.
community, and the
Community.
first
she'll
thing
be
is
part of the community.
for her to learn English because she lost that when she went to Mexico. So
Mhm.
I told her, "You're rich." She's like, "Yeah." And at her age, she's young. Because at her age, look, this is funny.
How old is
because
she now?
she's 8. She's about to turn 9 in July, and that's at the time I came to the United
Wow.
States,
Time.
and I learned English in 3 months.
My son came here when he was 6, and it's the same thing. They'll learn. Kids are sponges, man.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
sponges, so they'll pick it up.
And she loves swimming. Like that's her number one thing, dude. So I want to really put her like on swimming.
So that's the other part I was telling you. I've been working with the kids in the community. Is that man? I got a swim team, man.
Y'all, I would
Let
definitely
me
put
know.
y'all.
You got a swim
Dude,
team.
when she came, like the beginnings to see me, and I took her to the pool, I don't even know how to swim, dude. She jumped in the pool like she already knew how to swim. Hey, Dad, look, boom. And I was like, holy shit, I don't know. How am I going to go get her? Dude, she just went out, and then I was like, Dad, I love swimming.
Yeah.
I love swimming. And she tells me, I want to keep on swimming. And karate. She wants to join and learn how to defend herself. So I'm like, it's good. It's good. Because she tried sports. She tried baseball and all of this stuff. She got hit by the ball. She's like, hell,
Okay.
no.
enough
this
of
ain't
that.
for me.
Enough
She's
of
like,
that.
this ain't for me.
Yeah.
But I really want to. She has the mindset of the community too.
Good.
She's like,
Good.
people don't have things like that. How can we help those people? Even with a little bit, if they need shoes or clothing, how can we help them?
Yeah.
That's when she started telling me that I just started crying.
So it changes everything.
Because I didn't tell her that. How did
Right,
I
right.
like? And that was maybe she was 7 when she started saying that.
Wow.
And now she's about to be 9, and she's in a different, different
Wow.
mindset.
That's big.
But that's what my story, that it brings me that I want the kids to understand that, and the parents and so like, hey man, if they want to get to do something like that, let them do it, man. Don't worry about the money. You still got to spend money to them. You got to put a karate or soccer,
Something.
but
Yeah.
let them enjoy it. If it's not for them, so
You find
what,
out.
man?
Move
You'll
on to the
find
next.
out.
Yeah. Move on. To
But
the
let
next
them
thing.
enjoy and experience their life. They're
Yeah.
their own mindset. They're their own them.
Yeah,
It's a different
they're
body.
only limited to what you
Yeah.
put them. They know no limits except for what's been put on them.
Right.
And if they see like, how everything's gone on with the kids here, like shootings, they see dad hitting mom. What do you think? What do you expect they're gonna do with their girlfriends?
Yeah.
Oh, dad did it, or the other way around.
Mm.
Oh, my
Learn.
mom slept with 5 men. Oh, I can sleep with 5 men too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, that's just
learned acceptance.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that with the community and our kids, And same goes with that fear.
Yeah.
And watching this, and they got fear, and the parents this.
It's to have enough. I think to have enough fear and anger about something to actually do something about changing it.
Mhm.
To actually be motivated. Let your fears be enough to motivate you to do.
But don't let fear paralyze you.
No.
There are a lot of people who aren't moving. There are a lot of people who aren't living their lives because of fear.
Fear, yeah.
And that's why I was saying 2020, when I look back, and now 2021, I mean, we got to be positive. I mean, look what you've done so far.
Not what I know.
We're about to be
What happened.
we're,
In obedience.
we're about to be in May. It's about April's over. I mean, we're about
That's
to be
true.
in May.
8 more
We're about
months.
to turn in our first month shop. Like things are. To say I'm happy would be an understatement.
So I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
don't let fear paralyze you. Then push forward. Go forward. Pray on it.
Pray on it.
Because this isn't something that happened
Take time.
overnight.
We used to
right?
teach that all the time in sports. Said if you, we would tell the parent, not the children, but we literally have to tell the parents, write them a letter, say, if you're upset about something, 24, 48 hours, don't contact. You're an adult. Think it over. And as coaches trying to get your kid through the sport, your kid's not, this isn't a college level,
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's just to have fun.
Understand where other
Let's let
people
them have
are.
fun.
Yeah. Do the right thing. Be the right mentors. Reach out. So, all right, guys, you good? You get everything else? My mom's not going to make it here in time for the show, but she'll be here in 2 weeks. So,
Oh, yeah?
I'm super excited about that.
How long is she going to stay?
It's just a couple days, but I get it for Mother's Day.
I was hoping we could, you know what I mean?
We get
Because she's been following the
she
cast.
follows
So it'd
and
be
she
nice.
listens. Trust me, I get feedback from my mother every week. She's my biggest fan and number one critic. But no, it's just I'm so excited for, while everybody else's outlook is so bleak, right? All we're trying to share with each other, with you, is the fact of what we've been through and why we are where we are today.
Yeah,
and I really would like to encourage
One
other
step
people.
at a time.
Yeah, one
Just
step.
like you saying,
Go
one person.
We're looking for one.
And for that one. And then
One.
as yourself, you one step away for your next thing.
Right.
No matter what it is. Like you said, you live today. It's not even 12 yet.
No.
You still got a lot to
You
do
still got-
today.
you got time. You still have time today to make right what was wrong. Tell somebody I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right? Call your kid. Call your mom. Call your grandma. I probably should call my mom.
Work out if you haven't worked out through the day. Your health is number one.
Hey, look, I'm going to say something. I really like maybe because it was a seventh episode for us.
So
Hey, number 7.
We should be off already, right? So we've been talking about this. Go get it done. Mind you, hump day today. I had a good workout, bro. Just let you know.
I did.
No, me too,
But I had a good day. It was a good day.
I had a workout today in the morning too, man. I think I pushed myself just one more extra, and you know those you push yourself like like endorphin and everything.
Yeah.
Hold on, listen. Hey, Mom. Yeah. Hey, say hello to Ray and Jesus.
Hey, Mom, how's it going?
Hey.
You know we're at the end of our podcast, and he called you up.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you came up a couple of times, and I really want to drive home as we leave today. I'm somebody who, and I say, listen to when you hear something. When you hear and feel God podding, poking you. And we talked about my mom a couple of times, right?
Poking the bear.
I love my mama. My mom, my grandmother, they're the best. So I just want to call and say I love you. And if you're listening, you need to take time out to do exactly that. It's that small little thing.
You're
Take
right.
time out to say, hey, I love you. I appreciate you. I miss you. I know I haven't talked to you today. And I think that don't be so confounded to the community that you have so close to you.
Yeah.
But make sure you reach out to those that are far away too. Right? That phone goes both ways. And I've heard that a few times this week. So I just want to say, Mom, I love you. We look forward to seeing you. We know you're not going to be here, but we're gonna see if we can't. Well, you won't be here for a podcast day. That's all.
No. I'll be there. We're leaving on Thursday, but then
I don't think she realized she's live.
leave on Tuesday, coming back.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be like a long extended week.
So we'll find time inside that to maybe grill something out. Have a Anyway. All right, Mom, I love you. We're gonna get off the air. I just want to
have a great night.
I love you. I want to practice what I preach. So
That's
I feel
good,
like I
though.
should
Yeah,
call
no.
somebody. I said my mother. You come out of my mouth. So thank you, Mom, for giving birth to the legend. I know I was a pain in the butt, but I love you so much.
Yeah, you've always been a pain in the butt, but I love you too.
All right. I'll see you soon, Mom. Love you.
I'll see you next week.
Okay.
Okay, love you.
Love you. Bye.
See ya.
Love you too, man.
Anyway, yeah. Bro, like I said, I pull a lot from both my parents and the community I was in. My mom is definitely the person who
I
gave me
think
the
this
shirt
was
over
a
her back,
powerful
so
cast, man. I really do.
I don't mean to get so choked up. Like,
Man, you're going to make me cry, bro.
I'm
already over here sweating.
I put you in there and shake you off. I
I'm
didn't want you
dehydrated,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Now you want to make me cry?
It's better than a Bud Light commercial than a Pepsi commercial, huh, Michael?
They need to sponsor us.
Oh,
Bud Light.
man.
They're like Bud Light 1, 2, 3, 4.
Anyway, guys, we love you so much. We thank you for watching along. For those who watch in the future, Those will go back and watch it again. We really appreciate you. We're thankful. I'm glad that we get to share our stories. And
Yeah.
120 members now.
Yeah.
120
I'm
members.
glad we get to show the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The
The other side of the coin. The other side.
The other side of the coin. So I love you guys. You ready?
Love you.
Yeah,
Thank you guys, and we'll see you next week. Next Wednesday.
Father, we thank you for everything. We thank you for everything you've given us, all you provided. We thank you for the friendship. We thank you for the fellowship. We thank you for the encouraging words and just your spirit to be among us in all places and time. We ask you to go before us, keep us safe, bring us back together. Bless the food that we're about to receive, and we thank you for everything. In Jesus' mighty name we pray you be kept. Amen.
Amen.
See you.
Peace out. See you next time at 7 o'clock. Well, 7:30 and whatever.
Yeah,
Well, we're still here.
Yeah, we're still here.
We're still
Yeah,
here.
We're going to be here, and you should be here.
Yes. Yes.
Seven-ish.
Seven-ish. Look, get yourself something to eat. Be ready, right?
Yeah.
We out. Bye, y'all.